If I don't thank you, I would be so ungrateful. What I am, tato epemo, tato nyeso, pole konyo. Thank you, Lord, for all you have done. If I don't thank you, I would be so ungrateful. Thank you, Jesus, pole konyo. Tato. Hey, Tato. 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 Kaya warrior. There is no other God. Every other God, the so counterfeit. I try to fill me. I try every other God, and they all let me down. They'll say I should give something for something. Let the love on the sacrifice before they can bless me. Or say submit to you. You never asked me for a dime. You keep on showering your blessings all over me. If I don't curse you, if I don't worship you, what's the matter to pay? You can't let me to pay. I don't. Yes, I don't. Tato. Tato. Kaya warrior. Tato. Hey, Tato. 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 Kaya warrior. You are my light. You are my light. Daddy, you uphold my trust. You are my strong. You are my defender. You are my provider. Everything that you do. If I don't curse you, who else would I curse? If I don't worship you, who else would I worship? Hey, você me tá do pé, you can't let me tá do pé lá.
All right, good afternoon, good evening. It's good to be back here to all of our viewers and listeners across the globe. I can't wait to get hold of the Libra here this evening. He's been all over the place like a loose cannon. And let's see what's going to happen here this evening. I want to say good evening and welcome to this talking point.
Who else would I worship? Hey, você me tá do pé, you can't let me tá do pé lá. Tato, yes,
Well, this is a beautiful song fading away here by Liberian gospel artist Sabina Johnson. It's based in the United Kingdom. So we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I'm Alfonso Zin, so right here. I love doing what I love to do right here from the New England Bureau. But I got a hit big time. We're going to come to that. And there's someone potentially is responsible, but I'm going to call him out when he comes on right here. I'm Alfonso Zin, so let's get the program going. Yes, this is from the court, the crew ethnic dialect, Tato Nyasua. What a beautiful gospel song there by Minister Tabinant Johnson. Thank you for making a contribution to right here on this network here. I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I've been away from this microphone, pretty close to 3 weeks or plus now. Yes, I had a test in the reality of this virus called Chinese virus. I can tell you it is a very deadly thing to ever experience. I don't care how stubborn you are, questions or whatever it is. Believe me or not, it can it can neutralizes people. I'm telling you, no joke. It's real. But I just want to say, if I thank God that I'm back on my feet, not in totality 100%, but getting too bored until, I try to do it like the Chris Comot style, where I think I'm going to overcome it so quickly, fastly, in my own timing. But that happens not to be the case. So there were a lot of talking points, a lot of conversation I was unfolding across. And we love behind the scenes, notwithstanding, it doesn't matter who come first, who talk about it first, but the substance in the conversations is what is important. So I'm doing a little bit much better, and I think I should add a little strength to myself to get a quick recovery. And so to all of our friends and those I want to reach out, as a matter of fact, I thought of sending out a tweet, all right, to let, out of courtesy to our followers, our viewers of Liberia Public Radio, because when you suddenly disappear of the scene, that itself does not show respect to your viewers, to your follower. But then other things begin to factor in. My old lady back home, and knowing the gravity of this virus. So like, okay, I don't just want to put it out there, because when you do it, you don't know how the interpretation will be like. So I decided to pause and say, okay, when I'm much better, I will try to, give it a conversation, and then maybe myself will let her know. So that was one of the reasons. But I'd really, really appreciate friends, followers of Liberia Public Radio, out of curiosity, those that didn't know what was going on and were missing from the scene, they reached out to see how we're doing. That was very good thoughtfulness. That was a good thing on their part. My man Mikey, I want to thank you so much. And many others I can really call your name, but you helped to get us to do what we're doing. And so as we try to gain strength, we try to add a little bit of strength to ourselves to make sure to have this conversation so that we know to show too that we are doing much better. But a lot is being unfolding as usual. The Liberal Progressive going to be here with the rest of the folks, and we're going to be having a conversation. As you know, a lot has been going. Not to mention the GANTA saga is another catching amidst the travel, the stir tour of the president across the country. I'm Alfonso Z, and so I will be right back. Let's take this quick commercial commitment.
School Zone Liberia, promoting talents through academic.
School Zone Liberia, School Zone Liberia.
I want to thank the Lord for this organization of motivation all through this nation. School Zone Liberia, you're not doing it again, no. School Zone Liberia, yeah. So get prepared for us. We coming there to your school. If you can sing, dance, and rap, now you we coming you. We here to promote the talent that been heading for years. We here to promote the talent.
Why are we going? Is that not our community?
Yes, that is our community, but we can cross here.
Why?
We need to go to the junction or walk to cross safely.
How?
Because the traffic will stop or go slow.
Okay, let's go.
Administration, let us help the parents bring the talent out of the children. At School Zoo, there is a way to bring it out, yeah. You don't need to bring discrimination. Don't need to be a rapper with some singers and dancers. And not everybody was born to.
Greta, why are you waiting for? Let's go.
No, not yet. What again? We need to wait for a polling instruction. No, we are just full. We need to wait for all us to cross.
Okay.
We've been waiting, praying for this opportunity. Yeah. School Zone Liberia. Too many talents in your children. talents in the land. It's too glad to see. Step aside, we don't give up. So God the children through what they want to do. They need your prayers and your guidance. They need protection and your direction. Mama, Papa, never declare them. They need you now. They need you later with us.
If there are no police officers, were we not going to cross?
Yes, we were going to cross, but we were going to ask an older person to help us cross.
School Zone Liberia, promoting talents through academy.
See, there you have it. School Zone Liberia. That's our own man that breakthrough. Yes, School Zone Liberia is meant to showcase some of the good things that our kids are doing. Educative, very informative. As you see the commercial there. And he does this work here. Whatever you are from, whatever country you're from, if you want him to showcase some of the work of the kids or try to give spotlight to the young generation, Breakthrough, Mensa, aka Breakthrough, he will help you to do that at School Zone. Very, very much informative. Well, Yusuf, I believe is in the evening. I go evening from inside the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yusuf is one of our regular follower here to the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Thank you for joining us here as well with Mackie. Okay, let's see here. By the way, tomorrow by 5 o'clock local time in Liberia, which I believe approximately will be what, 4 o'clock here, not 12 or 1 o'clock. The Deputy Police Chief for Public Affairs, Director Moses Carter, we have agreed that he's going to be appearing on this network. And we're going to take a comprehensive review to look at what is happening in Nimba County, GANTA. As you may know, a lot of tension is mounting there, even though it's been subsided. The police chief, the Inspector General of Police, Inspector Patrick Sudu, is there in a brief conversation with Director Carter. He will be appearing here tomorrow and to get the latest update on the situation unfolding in GANTA City, Nimba County. But this is what happens yesterday. Mike Jabatet, who happens to be one of the voices, he was in an exclusive interview with the sister network Spoon TV yesterday. This is what he told the Spoon Network, courtesy Spoon TV. Let's play this. Ben Amos George is here. The Liberal will be coming here. Let's have this.
Salam alaikum manim valu. Ala mo pesava ma. Ala mo jusola ji. Ganda komini ala tamya wala. Ala fanga di magma. Ese kuma mo bawiye aya gresi mo baka ju kele. Ala ju kele. Mo popita do misila bina ali nyala. Ala kali kono fipo bicha na kila mulu.
And I want to take this time today to inform the public concerning the land dispute in Nimba County. And
top doctor reveals how a 71-year-old bald man got his healthy, thick hair growing back in record.
Just bear with us.
Something is about to happen in GANTA and Nimba County. And I hope that President George Banner is listening to me. I hope the political leaders in this country are listening to me. I hope the stakeholders in this country are listening to me. Ordinary citizens of this country, I hope they are listening to me. Something is about to happen You know, yesterday, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Francis Popo, who are described as criminals, is the one behind the land dispute in Lima County. Our people have been marginalized the past 14 years since the Civil War is over. ECOWAS came in, they gave huge amount of money to resettle our people. We don't know how the money, who ate that money. By the end, there were people, they are occupying the Mandingo people land in Lima County. So yesterday, there's a guy they call Swa, and this guy is involved in criminal activity in Lima County. He went, we found a court order, we found a ruling from the court. He went and paid somebody, police guys, they went and demolished, they carried on, and they destroyed the homes of Mandingo people in GANTA, Lima County, yesterday. Yesterday, they break over 50 homes. Now most of our people are displaced in GANTA, Lima County. Then this morning again, there was a tension in Lima. But who is the cause of this problem? It's the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Francis Popo. Because Francis Popo is a man of man. And most of the judges in Lima County are man of people. He used that occasion to appoint most of the judges in Lima County. So our people have been marginalized. But right, you take a bad man from Cape Man and say a judge in Lima County. But you send man of men or the man of people are judges in Lima County. Do you expect Mandingo men to get right? And we are calling on the Liberia National Police. We are calling on the government, the army, the citizens of this country. They are about to attack our people tonight. That's the news I want to bring up. They are about to break the mosque, to burn the mosque tonight. And some of the guys, experts, they are using police uniform now. They are using army uniform now. They are preparing. Then I said to myself, if a single Mandingo man is killed in GANTA, that means we will kill the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia because he is responsible for the land dispute in Lima County. If a single Mandingo man is killed in Lima County today, some of us will sacrifice our life because enough is enough. We have been marginalized. We have been marginalized. But anything that he should fail to settle the land dispute in Lima County. It's still continuing. The Guilds and the Manos, Mandingo, we are being in peace. Why do you think we have authority yet? We have the power, we have government. Why the government can intervene to solve some of the problem? But my major concern is today, if a single Mandingo man is killed in Lima County, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia will hold you responsible and he will never go free. Today is why today I'm in my military uniform. I'm in my military uniform today. I'm in my military uniform today. We are mobilizing our brothers and sisters. We are monitoring the situation in Lima, GANTA. We are monitoring the situation in GANTA, Lima County. Any attempt by any group of people to kill a single Mandingo man, that means maybe ECOWAS or UN will come in. Because we are ready. We are ready because we are not getting justice. If you can't get justice, you will do something to defend yourself. Because the man who is the head of the Justice Department in this country, President Popo, he's corrupt. He is the cause of the problem. President Popo is corrupt. He wants to bring problem in this country. So what do you expect if the Supreme Court cannot give us justice? What do you expect us to do? Do they want us to take AK-47 to protect ourselves? We are not going to do that. We are not going to do that. So we're calling on the president now to deploy AFL in GANTA now, today, because something is about to happen there today. The president should deploy AFL, the Liberia National Police now in Lima County. If anything goes wrong, we will hold President Popo responsible. We will hold this government responsible. Now they should deploy AFL. They should deploy AFL now. Something is about to take place in GANTA. That is why I call Spoon TV. Let the world get to know the situation there. And most of our people came today for ration. They are here today, see, at my residence, to show how important I am. I'm not just an ordinary person. Our mothers there, our sister there, and they are all here today. They came at my residence. They want to break fast. And they said, we're going to Manjabate homes. We are going there. I get thousands of people behind me. Even our experts. Some of them, we stopped them yesterday. They were about to go in GANTA yesterday. So do not overlook my information I'm giving you. If Mr. President is listening to me, if President Joshua is listening to me, please deploy AFL now in GANTA. If anything happens to our people, Mr. President, if a single Mandingo man is killed, we will be based on the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. I know you have a question. Thank you.
Yeah, my first question has to do with why are you wearing uniform? Army uniform. Mr. Tabata.
And you're asking me why I'm wearing the army uniform. I'm in the army uniform today to defend my community. I'm in the uniform today to defend my community. I'm in the uniform today to die for my community. I'm in the uniform today to sacrifice my life if a single man is killed in the country.
And you spoke of something big is about to happen. What is it?
What I'm telling you now is that something is about to happen because these guys are planning to burn the mosque in GANTA today. They are planning to burn the mosque in GANTA today. They are planning to attack the Mandingo people today, tonight. Today is why I'm calling on the president to deploy AFL. To deploy AFL, I don't trust the Liberal National Police. Because 50% of the Liberal National Police, most of the guys, they are not trained. They are not trained. So AFL needs to be deployed there. If a single Mandingo is killed, and I went my uniform today to defend my people.
You just accused the Chief Justice of Liberia, and also you just accused the Chief Justice of Liberia. Do you have any proof for what you are saying concerning the Chief Justice?
You don't know the Chief Justice is corrupt? Are you blind, Mr. Journalist? Are you not aware that this man took money from SYC to impeach Cabinet Janet? Are you not aware that this man is corrupt, Francis Papa? Are you not aware that Francis Papa has destroyed the Supreme Court bench? Are you not aware of Francis Papa criminal act? I'm aware of Francis Papa criminal act. And I get proof. I'll be waiting today if I go to jail. Francis Papa, he's not a decent man. He one of those that destroying this country. He one of those that destroying this country, our beautiful country. He has destroyed the Supreme Court bench. He corrupt.
Okay. That's you have heard that. Let's see here. But let me just give you the close.
And you also
let's give you the close end of this here.
I just told you, if a single Mandingo man is killed, we will be revenge all the children. I have no regret. I told you that I'm ready to die today. I just told you I wore this army uniform to sacrifice my life. I wore this army uniform today. Maybe it's time for me to die. If anything goes wrong in GANTA Nima County, this is why I wore the uniform.
So what will you do if the Liberia government don't send the armed forces of Liberia that you are requesting to be sent to Nima County? What will you do?
If the government do not send police, and the government is under obligation to protect life and property, President Weah is under obligation. He took oath on the Constitution. If the government cannot protect us, they will mobilize our ex-fighter from the Unimo kill and let rebels.
And in fact, our mover, we are ready to move up
to defend our people.
We're ready to go GANTA. We just waiting for time.
If the government, if the government fails to protect us, if the government fails to protect us, then I know the government will not fail. But if they fail, we get our men, we get our ex-fighters. We will mobilize them, they will go and protect our people.
Mr. Jabate, don't you think you are threatening the peace of this nation?
What peace are you talking about? Am I threatening peace? I think it's President Papa that is inciting violence. He's the one that threatening the peace, not my Jabate. I'm talking about my community. I'm defending my community. I'm defending my community. I'm not accusing the government or SYC, but I'm accusing the Chief Justice. I'm accusing that criminal called President Papa. I have no fear. I just told you that I wore the army uniform to go to jail today. I wore the army uniform. Wallahi, I said to the Almighty Allah, I'm willing to sacrifice my life. If a single Mandingo man is killed in GANTA,
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Wallahi alhamdu! Allahu Akbar! Wallahi alhamdu!
Okay, that's all.
Today.
Is there any other thing you want to say?
I'm calling on President George Manuel. I'm calling on political leaders. I'm calling on the stakeholders. I'm calling on the religious leader. Let them deploy AFL in GANTA. Let them deploy AFL in GANTA. I'm not alone. I'm not just an ordinary person. I'm not alone.
So who are you with?
I know you'll get to know soon. When the appropriate time comes, you will see more than 10,000 human beings behind me. You'll get to know that.
That's good. Okay, that's quite fascinating. That's Liberia. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us here. That's Mike Jabatet, and in a press conference yesterday held in the nation's capital of Monrovia, let's have a conversation. I've been away from this desk for a couple of weeks now, but I'm happy to be back doing much better. So we've got to add a little strength into ourselves to see what is unfolding to our beautiful viewers. And I follow it, Mamani Dennis, Dualot, and the rest of the guys, KZ. We want to welcome you to this evening podcast. It is ugly. It is getting ugly out there. My guy, senior contributor, Amos George, is standing by backstage. I'm going to be breaking him very shortly, and we will open the lines. We'll take a review of the recent appearance of former Vice President Joseph Newman Boyka. Alexander Benedict Cummings of the Alternative National Congress was on the sister network Spawn TV as well. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I believe should be like 5 p.m. local time in Liberia. I'll be hosting the Deputy Police Chief for Public Affairs, Director Moses Carter. I did reach out and we're going to be having a conversation here to see here, but indeed it is ugly. And let's get the conversation going right away. Let me bring in senior contributor, analyst based in Atlanta, Georgia, Amos George is standing by. Let's get this conversation here. Mr. George, good evening. Good to have you here. I've been out of this decks here, man. If I have my own way, I'm not sure what I can file in a complaint with the International Court of Criminal Justice against this COVID-19, what it has done to me, whether they can restitute some of the things that I've gone through here. Is it possible that I see we ever listen to that? Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, sir. And thank God that you are back on your feet. But that will tell you, you see, what you experience compared to what was going on in Liberia. Can you see the difference?
Oh, there's a big gap. I don't even know what it's the value is just unmeasurable.
See, that's why I'll say the country is blessed. Liberia is blessed. What you experience, what I saw people doing in Liberia, I always say, I said maybe the value that there is a little bit extra, because I said what I saw in America is different.
Yeah,
it's different, but thank God that you
actually that stuff meant Donald Trump called Chinese virus or China virus, whatever it is. I don't want to just see it, smell it, or feel it somewhere. It's not a good thing for anybody to experience. That stuff is deadly. That I can say. It is deadly because when it does attack every part of your system, organs, your body has been felt. Probably treats people in different form. I'm not a guy who, I just want to say thank you to the family for doing well, but believe me, it locked me down. So I don't care how stubborn you are. It has no boundary, no respect. It doesn't matter how many questions you can ask. It will ask you questions, and you will find it very difficult to find answers because your entire system is been overweight. Okay, let's come back to what has been a lot been unfolding in recent time. For every time the president tries to get his busy, there's some sort of a distraction, some sort of a news surface while we await to get the details from the relevant institution That's the government of Liberia. Moses Carter will be appearing here. But you listen to this footage we just played, courtesy Spoon TV of Mike Jabate. What does that suggest? What does that tell you? The sort of society, the nation, the people, individual people that even make up the society, the way they understand, the way they see things in the world, they take decisions in making decisions. He spoke with a lot of strong words. We have people behind us. He accused the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice is responsible. I don't have all of the details or all of the facts here, but there were a lot of strong words coming from Mike Jabate.
Yeah. Mr. So, listen at those words. It's troubling. But I want to go back a little bit. Would the government arrest Mike Jabate?
That's the $1 million question. Or not necessarily to arrest, but would they call him in for making some of those incendiary comments, inappropriate? Nobody condone what is going on in Nimba County. Liberia deserves to be in peace. Nimba deserves to be in peace. But those comments should not be taken lightly. We have gone down this road before.
Mr. So, the background is this thing. Just 2 weeks ago, they had Mo Ali on national TV in Liberia. He was wanted for a post that he made. Yesterday, whatever. Let me tell people what is going on in Nimba County. I will address it. It's wrong. I do not condemn any violence of any nature. But if we are living in a country that speaks of law and order, we should be very careful with our utterances. Because what we say, others may take advantage of it and interpret or do something that sometimes the internal consequences, you did not mean it to be that way. Now, what is happening in Nimba County, it has a genesis. I don't have all the facts. I only hear from the airway. But I think there are Sion or Mandingo people in Liberia. They are community leaders. They are leaders in a religious community. I think they need to take charge of the situation. Mike Jabate has his right as an individual, as a citizen of Liberia, as a Mandingo man. I understand his feeling about his people. But I think the most senior people should take charge of the matter. And let Mike Jabate start speaking like this. Because what he said, those are strong words. Those are strong words. And the sky is still, the sky is still, it ain't going anywhere on Liberians. The issue here, and Mike is speaking, and I find it really difficult in some areas. One moment I say he doesn't trust the police, but at the same time calling for the government to send police.
To send, no, not police, to send the AFL. Yesterday, he does not trust the police, but he more or less trusts the AFL. I don't know on which bonnet the police, the national police, is operating. Whether it is different from that of the banners of the armed forces of Liberia, AFL is operating.
So we have to be very careful. Now, he accusing the Chief Justice. So I don't know what his facts are. But as I understood today, I was listening to one of the local radio stations in Monrovia. Musa Billy spoke. Listen to the portion of the interview. He said that he had contacted the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice is not aware of the situation. He had contacted the Solicitor General, the Minister of Justice. They are saying that they are not aware of dispatching men to go to GANTA and vandalize the property of the people. Musa also went on to say the superintendent of the county, the city mayor of GANTA, they are all saying they were never informed. They did not get any notification from the police to go up there and do what they did. That's according to Musa Belede. He said the police, along with some executive protective unit, went up there.
The question becomes, and that's what I want to really have Director Carter tomorrow, because I was in there. I was watching footage coming from GANTA, courtesy of D9 TV of Nima, and this guy who the claim, I'm not sure whether that's the same SWAT person he Jabate is making to reference to, that was on uniform, but he was carrying arms. He calls for the demolitions or the unroofing of that building. So on whose order was he acting? And I also want to know which of the security apparatus. You know, they have a lot of different security apparatus, the police, the ESSU, the DEA, the immigration. So all of these are different arms of security apparatus. What is his true identity? That's what really I have interest in knowing. Hopefully, when Director Carter appear here.
Yeah. Then, Ms. Roberta said, these people went up there. They did this. And all these people that he named, and none of them were informed. So the question here is, then they said, he said, there's another guy who was on the program on one of the stations.
Let's undo that a little bit here, Pa George. Nima County, they have their own political leaders. They have members, both. They are all. Nima is not in isolation. They have lawmakers. They have county officials. I don't know. I haven't heard or I haven't seen any press briefing from the Nima caucus. If it has happened, what I do not know. Let me just be very crystal clear on that. But where is this coming from? Just fall out of the blue sky and just descend on Nima County overnight without anybody knowing anything, and that they are not even coming out to speak to that effect.
This is the problem. According to the news, this SWAT guy, they say he like a land grabber and GANTA. They say even claim, and then the Methodist school compound, they say he said that land for him. And there was somebody was saying like he wants to take over the entire GANTA, claiming every property in the place.
One person?
Yeah, the same SWAT guy that, as I understand that, he alleges that he owned
a SWAT connection here. There must be some sort of, we must do some sort of tracing line here. Individual, I mean, just imagine single persons in your quarter or in your county prefers to be the dominant guy, and he will be doing something and nobody, the law is not picking on him and nobody is picking on it, and it's been consistent, ongoing to get us to be to this point.
This is this problem, Mr. So, as Mike stated, I think one of the villagers was in charge of the land dispute in Nima County, and he said that they submitted the funding to the former the former government, and he said that he alluded that people were paid off. That is, but he was not. So in other words, maybe you are on the land, and you say, okay, maybe they say, okay, since you have put a structure there, this is what we're going to give this person. You take it and move on, or something like that. He said, but that is the government failed to carry out enforcement after people receive money and things. He said the government failed to do it. Now, this government now is in power. And this thing has been brewing a long time. All the authorities in Nema County are aware of this situation. Every elected official in Nema County are aware of this situation. It's not something hidden. The Mandingo people continue to complain about the property that people are occupying them, and they have not been paid. So the Nema County authorities are aware of the situation. Now, to say that I don't know the Supreme Court, whether it was a full bench, but there's a civil issue.
So how is the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia comes into play into this here, has been referenced and pointed out by Mike Jabate, because there were a lot of things he talked about. The Chief Justice has appointed justices and associate or local court authorities for a specific ethnic group for which they are doing what they are doing from the Mandingo ethnic group within the NEMAT bill. So where is the correlation here coming from with this Chief
The correlation there is that Francis Kobo is a Mano man. And Mike is alluding that all the judges in that area are all Mano people. So in other words, they will not have any fair, transparent, or justice when it comes to anything pertaining to land in that area, because the Mano people are claiming the land, allegedly Mandingo people illegally took the land, and therefore you got a Mano man sitting there as a judge. The Mandingo man will not get a fair day in court. That's why Mike is alluding. That's why he accusing the Chief Justice, because it's the Chief Justice one that appoint all the judges into the area. So, if, for example, he's saying that if we took maybe a lawman man and send him up to Nimba as a judge, he would be more transparent than taking a Mano man from that area who all have been alluding that the Mandingo people have taken the property, and you send him there as a judge. It's like a conflict of interest, because the man you send there has been complaining that people took the land, and then use the very man where he accusing to go stand there to advocate for his land. That is why Mike Jabate is accusing the Chief Justice of fomenting the problem in Nema County, because he has sent not just ordinary people, but he has sent the tribal people there, the same people who they and these people are local here for the land to be judges there. That's why Mike are accusing him of. You see that?
Let me come and explore the angle from Mike Jabate on someone. It's good that you're here, because I made a full commitment that I want to wait until he comes on before I can go virus on him as well. I deliberate after being infected with the virus. This guy got the guts to send me a picture of he's been vaccinated, and said that the conservative media, they has all injected a conspiracy into this year, and what we look for is what we got. This is what this guy told me. This guy from Totan, this is what he told me. Can you imagine this guy? Do you believe that? Can you imagine?
Oh, I believe it. He was showing the muscle with the vaccine.
Yeah, he sent me that before he even posted that. He deliberately sent that so inbox when I was struggling to catching my breath. This is what this liberal did. And he's trying to tie me with the work of people at Glen. This is Samson Toll. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Sow, and I'm very, very happy to see you.
Oh, please don't even you what,
Mr. Sow? I'm very happy to see you, and I'm very. You don't know how much relief I have. That's one of the reasons why I came on late. I wanted to go and see your picture on the Facebook first before I can come and join you. But looking at you, I'm very happy and I'm very relieved. You haven't changed a bit.
Oh, you say he He's speaking in a very executory tone. He haven't changed. It means I have not learned anything yet. So are you calling for the replay of this virus?
No. Basically, that the whatever it was, the illness, the virus, your conservative people call it Chinese virus. I'm not going to go there, but all I can say is that the Chinese virus met somebody from their district, and the Chinese virus run away. So we all know that. So but on a very serious note, Mr. So thank you and welcome back. And we're very happy to have you back here on the platform again this evening. And then one of the reasons why some of it's kind of difficult for me to come on air because I know you were not feeling well. So for me to come with Mr. George and Mr. Zaro and for us to come and have a conversation here, yeah, we can do that. But for me, it was just kind of difficult to do without you being among us. So I'm glad you brought us back again, and I'm glad you're back with us. However, Mr. Soul, the liberal progressive is still here. I took my vaccine. I have both of them already done. Because why? The Chinese virus doesn't necessarily come to just liberal and conservative, but it seems like you conservatives, those of you that have the conservative mind, refuse to accept the liberal prescription of the vaccine. So now you're gonna come my way, and hopefully, Mr. Edmund Josh and Mr. Zaro, Professor Zaro, all of you will now come together. And if you haven't taken the vaccine, do so and do it publicly. Don't try to do like Donald Trump. You're taking a vaccine and then you condemn me at the same time. Please come out and take your vaccine and show yourself publicly, and so that the people that are following you will know that you're doing these things. Don't do it behind closed door. And that's a bad conservative idea. And this is why I'm on this platform again, to make sure that I disabuse all of you of these conservative ideas, because we cannot afford to have these kinds of conservative ideas being perpetrated. Excuse me. On the
I am okay. Do not.
Well, one of the people suspect that this virus can travel through the air and travel through the radio. So I hope you this is not coming through the medium we're talking on now.
You see, you see this guy? Is that how somebody sympathized with a colleague and he professed he's happy I'm back here?
Yeah.
Right. You see this guy? He calls me, to be honest, every morning. When he calls, he tells me I have taken my vaccine. And you decide not to take the why you want to be telling me that? Is that a time to tell me what I have taken my vaccine? You know, okay, let's get that topic going. That's something to who he is. We'll manage with him, we will deal with him. Age is catching up.
Let me go on the liberal side.
Really?
Mr. Two. Mr. Two.
Thank you, Mr. Josh. Thank you very much.
Mr. Two dearly love you. All that he's saying, when he's saying it in the name of love. That's your brother, he love you. And he just saying it. But deeply love you from the bottom of his heart.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I dropped my case. All right, the liberal progressive. I honestly, let
me make my 2 cents on this Mike Jephthah thing here, Mr. Soul. And I feel bad for many of you that were witness to the carnage that happened in Liberia during the war. Many of you were there, saw people in a difficult situation. I wasn't there. So it is very difficult for me to speak in terms of experience from that war. But what Mike Jephthah was saying there, it's not something to take lightly. Mike Jephthah, if this is something, what he's saying, if people are planning to attack the Mandingo brothers and sisters of our area, then that's bad and that should be stopped and the government need to be involved. If Mike Jephthah is seeking some sort of publicity on this issue that perhaps seems to be a miscommunication or whatever it is, then I think he needs to stop. Because Mike Jabertet needs to understand, he's not just your Mike Jabertet of 2-3 years ago. Mike Jabertet is now recognized in Liberia as someone who has a platform, as someone who speaks and people tune in. Whether 2 or 3 people, it doesn't matter. But right now, if you say anything and call Mike Jabertet, many Liberians that are listening to you will know who Mike Jabertet is. So he cannot use this opportunity to try to seek publicity. If this is how he intends to seek publicity, then this is wrong, because we have gone through that before. We went through it with our own brother, the Crown, and the Manigo has issue over there in Birmingham Hill, where my uncle was killed. Number one. The second thing, another brother of mine, I lost 3 brothers that particular incident in Birmingham Hill. So we cannot go and visit these things or revisit these things. These things are things that's supposed to give us the experience so that we will build the nation. If Mike Jabertet feels that people are trying to bring harm to the Mandingo Mandingo people in Nima County, which I condemn if that's the case. But if it is, then Mike Jabertet need to go to the police. We have a system. We have a system in Liberia. We have a law and order in Liberia. Many Liberians, I keep saying this, many Liberians, millions of Liberians will go to bed tonight and wake up tomorrow without any kinds of interference from any kinds of law enforcement whatsoever. So Mike Jabertet, if he has these kinds of information, first of all, let him go to the government and not come on public medium like this and make an announcement that other brothers and sisters might be feeling threatened by his statement. This I condemn. If Mike Jabertet is going to be doing this, he should not use this kind of platform to try to generate some sort of a sympathy for himself, because I think he's having some serious issue with his run. Remember, he ran to CDC here, and apparently there was nothing good coming on that side. So other people might say, oh, Mike Jabertet tried to look for some relevance here because the fact that he didn't get any kind of photo in the CDC, now he's coming back to come and our brothers and sisters need to have peace in our country, Mr.
He's trying to bring himself into this image here. Okay, go ahead, Pa George.
What I'm saying, there are senior leaders within the Mandingo quarters. I'm saying that the Mandingo leaders or influential people in the Mandingo setting should take hold of this matter, because Mike Jabertet is speaking to certain demographic of the Mandingo group. We have to be very careful. He's speaking to certain demographic of the Mandingo group. And he has followers, like it or not. What he's saying, we have to be very careful, because we don't want the internal fighting between the Gio, the Mano, the Mandingo in our county or anywhere else. This land issue is very important. So the demolition or whatever destruction that went on, for me, the first thing is wrong. It's wrong. The genesis of this case is long, but somebody, the government today, must take charge of this issue and settle the problem.
Here is the $1 million. Here is the $1 million question here, gentlemen, and we need to put cap on the hair here. We all know Jabertet pivoted recently in the column towards the ruling establishment, and there was a lot of ridiculous comments. We saw, you remember how the ex-fighter said they were going to go and to arrest Yeke Koluba and all of that. That case went down to Gortot or whatever it was ever investigated. So it has become a culture, it has become a tradition, it has become a sort of regular to routine. Any Dick and Tom just wake up anytime and stand before the media and says and talk and say anything they want to say. And now the police or the security apparatus, they got themselves caught into something now too. I'm not sure whether they find it very uncomfortable to deal with or some sort of trouble. Will they call in to Mike Jabertet? On what basis? Those things that he was talking about, in as much the actions by those that are involved whether it's a sort of encroachment or what they are doing towards the other group of people, is absurd. It's ridiculous. But will they call into the liberal? Will they call into Mike Jabate? He made specific reference. We have 10,000s of people. We have our ex-factor, Yulimoke, Lurt, and all of that. And you know, I know those people there, they are existing. They are everywhere, every part of the country. They are there. So I agree with what Amos George is saying. He's speaking to a specific column that understands the language, the tone, the rhythm that he's playing. So, or we say, okay, well, this is a liquor talk, this is a job exercise. No need to waste time on it. It's just going to be a distraction. So anybody can just get in, make any comments, says anything, and we'll let it fly off the hook.
Well, what I read today, I believe they said Mike Jabate has already been invited and will be questioned by the police, the investigative arm of the police. And I'm not too sure, and that they were going to respect his right as an individual to speak freely. However, there was certain mention of the Chief Justice, and that they wanted to have some clarification from Mike Jabate. So I'm sure they're on that. But what I don't understand is when they're talking about demolition, was it the government was going to Nima County to demolish structure that are in the roadway, or what is this demolition issues that brought about this huge confusion?
Listen, it is a very crowded thing, and I can't wait tomorrow. Hopefully, Moses Carter keep up to that appointment to be here at 12, because when I was monitoring D9 TV from Nima County, the guy, there were a lot of interviews, going screaming and all of that. And they said there was an individual who was, they say he a police, but he's not uniform. He was carrying arms. So the question becomes now, what is the identity of this individual, and who establishes the fact that he is a police? Because I can for sure tell you arms loitering all over the place there, and whose order was he acting for this single person to just go and tell people, or carry out this mandate? Or whose order was he acting on?
Mr. So,
yeah.
Some time ago, you see, when we come on this platform to open our mouths, sometimes some brothers and sisters will listen and other people try to condemn us and stuff like that. Nobody is against this government. Nobody is against anybody. But when you're doing these kinds of stuff, demolition or whatever it is, if it is the raw issue, you use people like Mike Jabate, who has a huge platform. And this is what I really don't understand.
Wait a minute, something.
No,
hold on.
Don't even go that route. Who is
hold on. Let me finish, Mr. So. I'm gonna have to end my statement. Please, this is what I'm saying. People like Mike Jabate, if this is what I'm thinking it is, if the demolition they're talking about, if it having to do with the road construction, if it having to do with the road construction.
It's not even, it has nothing to do with road construction.
Okay, whatever it is, because if you say demolition of people property, most likely, or not even most likely, but the only people that have that power to demolish anybody's property will be government by using eminent domain, if you want to do it roughly. Now, the point that I'm trying to make is this: if this, what is being argued, if the demolition issue is what's bringing this, when I'm talking about using people like Mike Jabate, we all know Mike Jabate is connected, truly connected. You can't deny that. So people like Mike Jabate, my belief, they should have been informed to ask Mike Jabate as a person that will be able to carry out the message of the government, to say setting area, building, or whatever it is going to be.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Hold on, Mr. So. This is not an individual giving order to say, go demolish people building.
It's an individual.
If that happens, then they're wrong. But what I'm saying, if this is the government act to say that we're going to demolish, and the fact that the government was not able to establish or not able to bring out the information to disseminate the information, people will use those kinds of opportunity to improvise, to go and do things on believing that the government will like it in their own interest. So this is exactly what you're talking about. You have a man who went over there with gun. Nobody know who he is. But the fact that there is demolition issue hanging from the government, the people of that area are quite aware that there will be demolition issue coming up. So when a man went there, they resisted because they were not quite informed of what it is. And this person decided to take advantage of this to do things of his own. This is what I'm talking about. The government should be able to have people, not necessarily my Jabate alone, but
So
all of
don't
the other
even
people
go
in
there.
the country that have platform that this
Are you willing
information
to
should be
describe-
so from.
Are you
Mr.
willing to describe that ridiculous statement that you just made to you?
Mr. Tool, let me say
said
this.
No.
They,
I'm not going to retract that. Mike
yeah,
Jabate
okay.
is a Liberian. Hold on, Mr. George. Hold on. Mike Jabate is a Liberian. Mike Jabate has a platform. Mike Jabate is connected to our Manigo brothers and sisters. And here's why you two of you most likely are not grasping right now.
No.
If you, all of you from the countryside, so the folks in Liberia, not just in Nima County, all over Liberia, most of the structure that are lining the street of the major highway in Liberia. Hold on, Mr. So. Many of them are owned by our Manigo brothers and sisters. So if you're talking about demolition, if it having to do with
You
the
are
road,
creating
most
this
of the people
warrior.
are going to be affected are our Manigo brothers and sisters.
You are
That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about.
You are an engineer,
Mr.
so you are creating a demolition war here. We have never used demolition. You came with it from total, and you've been running with this demolition here. We are only saying it was reported that this gentleman who names Swa, we yet to know the identity. And I'm waiting to actually hear from Director Moses Carter. But I know in a brief conversation today, he said, well, this is a court issue. So if this is a court issue, this gentleman that went with this order, was he acting on the order of the court, or which of the judge or presiding judge orders was he acting in? Yeah, Pa George, go ahead.
Mr. Toll, let me say this. It was, I think, according to the new 13 or 14 houses that were destroyed upon the order of one Mr. Swa, claiming the properties for him. That is the genesis. According to Musa, this land issue, he was on chairman of that committee. He said they submitted a report to the former government. They pay people off, but the government did not carry out enforcement to evict those who are paid off to leave those property. They didn't do it. Now, he said this Swaga is the one who alleging that these properties that were broken down is for him. And even he said that Swa is almost claiming the entire GANTA. So these property in question is not about government using eminent domain to build structure or to build road and people refusing and demolishing the property. No, it is an individual that said that he got an order from the court that those properties are owned by him, and it means that people were trespassing. So he took police from Monrovia with some other security officers and went up to Nima to do that, according to Musa Bilete. Now, the question is, what I'm seeing, Mike Jabate, you talking about this, Mike Jabate, if the government wants to take Mandingo people property for using eminent domain, why the government cannot talk to the owner of the property directly? They must use someone like Mike Jabate to say what? If Mike Jabate has a property on the roadway and the government want to use eminent domain, they can talk to Mike Jabate directly. But if the government is taking other people's property, the government can approach people directly. Mike Jabate doesn't have to get involved, regardless of his platform you're talking about. What we are seeing here is an individual acting. And the statement, some of the utterances Mike Jabate made was not right. It was wrong. I don't know the court ruling, how the court derived giving that man that property. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, some of the words that Mike Jabate used in addressing the grievances of those people is not in place for Liberia. Last year in Kakatan, there was a Mandingo general that who spoke from Ulimo that they were ready to take her out if anybody troubled the Mandingo people. And Mike Jabata echoing this thing. That's why I said Mike Jabata know exactly what he's doing. He's speaking to a particular demographic. And I'm seeing it. Whoever did it, I don't know the court ruling yet. Maybe when Mr. Carter comes or we get more information, I can speak on that. But for him, Mike Jabate, to be very specific, blunt, seeing that if anything happened to any Mandingo man, if they kill any Mandingo man, they will kill the Chief Justice. I don't think that is the way for us to go. Because if we are talking, we want to sustain the peace in Liberia, then of course, we should channel our grievances through a different means, not making the kind of public utterances on government official or anybody, because it just don't augur well for us. So that's why I continue to say the people who are leaders within the Mandingo community should take seize of this matter and let the people that Majabade should not be spokesperson for this group. But if the senior or the influential Mandingo people in Liberia, or those one Nima,
but why were you saying that Mike Jabate should not be a spokesperson for this group?
So
Mike Jabate is hold on, Mr. George. Mike Jabate is just first of all, he's a Liberian. Second, he's part of the Mandingo community, a member of the Mandingo community. So the point that I'm making is this: if whatever it is that's coming from the court, if what you're saying, if the court rules certain way that certain things should be demolished, information is very important. The process of disseminating the information is very crucial. If you tell people what your intent is as a government or anything from the court, if it is made public, people like Mike Jabate will not have the opportunity to use or to do what you're suggesting that he's doing. Now, but if somebody refuse or fail to inform the public of what is happening, and then someone else decided to, like you suggesting, took few police from Monrovia and people to go. Now that person, the resistance that person going to meet up with is exactly what it is, because the government or the court failed to inform the proper authority. You yourself, you just told us. Hold on, Mr. Josh. You just told us that most ability said the superintendent of Nima County was not aware. Most of the people in Nima County, the hierarchy in Nima County were not aware. If that is the case, then it's the failure. I'm not too sure what branch of the government, but it is the failure of those who making the decision in Monrovia to correctly inform the people in Nima County of what is coming. And if there's any issue, they should be blamed.
No. Hold on there, Mr. Toe. Hold on.
How can one?
If Mr. So hold on there. If a party have an issue with the court, and the court rule in favor of one party, that party can go to carry on the ruling of the court. That does not need that they have to go to make public announcement. They don't need to do that. Because the case is between that's a civil issue between two parties or whatever. That's a civil issue. So if the court made a ruling, only the parties that are involved can go to seek redress or carry on the order. So,
okay.
But what I'm saying here, the land issue there is a group of people. According to Sekou Ability that listened to his interview, he spoke. He said he had even called on Senator Prince Johnson. Now, if Sekou Ability is seeing that he's talking with the county people like Prince Johnson, who are leaders from the county, is that Mike Jabate the right person to come to channel the grievances of the people? Let me tell you this. I'm hurt the way those people property were destroyed. But from what I see, Mike Jabate wants to take advantage of this situation. And we have to be very careful, call it as we want to. I am saying Mike Jabate is not the one to be the spokesperson of the issue. You see the languages he's using. Do you know the potential of the languages to cause trouble in Liberia? Do you see it? Why Sekou Ability one of the most senior prominent person in the Mandingo community, why he didn't use those kind of words. He was very careful when he was speaking today. But look at what Mike Jabata said. Mike Jabata one time said he don't trust the police. But he said at the same time they must send the police and army to GANTA.
Yeah, but Mr. George, you yourself just stated that if this man left Monrovia and took police with him and few security officers to Nima County, and without informing the authority of Nima County to carry on certain acts, because why? Maybe the court ruled in his favor. And if that's the case, the man have the duty. He know the land issue in Nima County. He has a duty in Nima County, specifically in GANTA, to go on air and explain to the public that he has won the case and make that clear to everybody else.
Mr. Toh, what I'm telling you, you will not use those words. You will not use the word that Mike Jabata used on the airway. You will not do that. Those words, some of the words were very wrong for him to use those phrases on TV.
But you know why they invited Mike Jabata to lead them? Because they feel Mike Jabata have a platform.
Who
and
invited
people listen to Mike Jabata.
Let me tell you, who invited? There are other Mandingos who have platform, and I spoke to some of them today, and they never use any word like that. Mike Jabata wants to exploit this situation.
Let me ask
Mike Jabata wants to exploit this situation, and I'm saying the Mandingo people should take someone better to speak
for the benefit of the
situation. Why you don't want to call it? It was wrong for that man to go and break those people to break those people home down, especially during the month of Ramadan. These people are fasting. It's wrong, but at the same time, we cannot allow people at Mike Jabata to come to be an official.
Let's listen to some of this.
It's wrong.
Let's listen to some of the soundbite here. Let's listen to some of the soundbite.
Now. You know how it takes yesterday, police people went and looted our people home in GANTA? They looted our people. They beat our people. And now people don't want to go GANTA away. So, this is I'm telling you, let the president, we are looking up to you. We're going to listen to my job, man, we are. Now they're speaking to you. Please, try, Mr. President. I love you, my brother. You my brother, you my friend, you my colleague. Please look up to GANTA matter, yes. Please watch us in my papa. Celebrate. Celebrate Fenya Manu Kotia. Tetachi. Please look up to GANTA matter, yeah. Please just will nowadays respect you. But celebrate. They try to do something. Before we get back, we're the veteran. We're alive, be live. We're ready to die. And we will see you in GANTA. And we come in GANTA. And miracle perform. And you say, your brothers, inshallah, there's a fast more. Then we see your husband, then what will happen there also. Thank you so much. He's one of the experts. He's a general for the expert. He's here. And he's a veteran.
Okay. He's one of the ex-fighter. He's a veteran. He's here. Those are language. Those are exoteric. Those are language. They are speaking in time. And we have to go deeper and deeper to do an interpretation. It has a long root here. And nobody condone what is saying there. So now the question becomes, where are the leaders of Nimba County? Can anybody tell me that this is just in isolation, that nobody knows anything about this thing happening in Nimba? For God's sake, when there's a tension, when there's something breeding within the quarter, one or two persons must have an idea. And there must be a whistleblower. Somebody must report it. Somebody must say something. Somebody must be able to sort of give that alarm. Can they tell me in the Nimba, within the Nimba belt, the GANTA, the authority, per George, Mr. Toll, can any of us imagine that no government official or nobody knows anything out of the sudden one morning or daytime they just saw a group of person or individual acting on his own as if he's a government or he is the owner of the town? Is that what I want to tell us?
No. Let me say this, Mr. So, and this is what I'm saying. Authority in Nimba, especially from that area, They are aware of what is going on. They are aware of it. But they're all playing deaf ear to the plight of the Mandingo people. Because they all believe that these people took the
is there any hidden motivation for that?
Yeah, because the moment is that they believe that these people took their land. So why would they want to talk about it? So if anybody comes there, try to retrieve this land, it's all in the interest of those leaders and the people. This is why they've been playing. This is why you see the silence. They knew and they know exactly what's happening in the country, but they fail. They do not want to address this thing adequately or fairly to the Mandingo people, and this is the result. Because the leadership of the country had not taken hold of that matter. They continue to play down it, thinking that the Mandingo people would leave those properties that they earn. They don't want to, and they think that they will use some force to intimidate the Mandingo people. This is why it's that country. And I go back to Mr. To listen to the statement of Mike there. Is that a person you want him to be a spokesperson for such an issue?
You're missing my point, Mr. Josh.
No, I'm not missing.
I'm not advocating that Mr. Mike Javante be the spokesperson. That's not what I'm saying.
That's what he said.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I said before this thing got out of hand, if the government is involved in the process of demolition, then people like Mike Javante, who has a platform, who many people listen to, perhaps should be called in to say, can you do a public service announcement or what have you? That's one side. The other thing here is this. What Mike Javante and this gentleman just said, let's be frank with each other. They're all about the same age group as fighters from all over Liberia. And they're not the only people that are alive who fought this war. There are many Liberians that are still alive who fought this war. So whatever they're saying over there, that blah, blah, blah stuff, those are just bluff. They don't scare nobody. No Liberians will be afraid of them because many Liberians have gone through a war and they're still alive. Nobody wants war. But for you to stand there and say, this is what we're able to do, this guy used to be, that's just bluffing stuff. That's not even moving me. I wasn't part of the war. It's not even moving me. How much more about people who fought the war? But let me say this. Mike Javante being involved to be some of whatever you want to call it, spokesperson, whatever. How did he get there? First thing is this, Mr. Josh, you have to understand. If there is a lack of information dissemination process, people will use the opportunity to make sure they improvise. Mike Javante have a platform. We must not deny it. Mike Javante is well known. He speaks for many people. So when they find out that, okay, let's call Mike Javante will speak for us. So Mike Javante went there, and instead of calming the situation, from what he's saying, he now seems to be inflaming the situation. Why is it that he's doing that? From my own perspective, the fact that Mike Javante I follow Mike Javante a lot. Within the last 4 or 5 months, Mike Javante started losing grip with the CDC and everything else. And Mike Javante is a kind of person who wants to be relevant. This is another thing. This is the same Mike Javante that used to go from town to town about the old fighter in Nima County. The fighter lived here, used to be born here. All those kinds of stuff. So I know what Mike Javante is saying. My point is, the folks that's supposed to be involved, the superintendent and the rest of the people supposed to be involved, they are not. Okay. So this is what Mike Javante is doing.
Okay, let me go to the line here. Camon is on the line. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Ty. Good evening tonight. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening to everybody. Calling you from Brooklyn Center, Minnesota.
Okay.
The whole issue, first of all, I would like to condemn Mike Javante, reckless statement in the strongest possible terms. And I hope, as I'm hearing from the Labour Progressive, that he's then called in for questioning. Because the kind of statement is not a statement that we can take lightly. Like Mr. George said, the man is speaking to a certain demographic, and they are still active. I want to believe that some of those people still know where they bury arms. I don't think all the arms, the people disarmed former rebels out of Liberia. Some of them stay in the trenches, in the bushes out there. So we can't take that statement lightly. Having said that, the issue with the Madigo people, the land, the government, the Liberian government is joking with this issue. They need to sit down and talk about the issue. If the Madigo people can own the land that they legitimately own in our Nima country, especially in GANTA, there nobody else should own it. All the governments should just take it and reset everybody on that land. But you can't deny somebody their property. You understand? Those people that are Nigerian citizens, I don't know why it's that sometimes they have to stop in Nima country. But the leadership of Nima country need to sit down. They need to work on the thing. They need to talk about it. They need to go through documents. Who owns this land? When you bought the land? How you got the land? They need to go through all of these. If the government finds out there's no way they can solve it, then the government can come in. Well, in the county, and you expect the place to be peaceful. It will be peaceful, you know? And especially where we are right now, I can't take anything for granted in Liberia. Anything is possible in a particular country there. People can do anything at any time because they are angry, frustrated, jobless, and whole other stuff contributing towards that. And lastly, the Madigo people in the diaspora here, they too need to put pressure on the Liberian government, whether it's through state or representative or whatever. And the organization here, every organization, Liberian Association in America, they need to speak out. It is not that every Liberian people speak out the issue. They shouldn't be like, oh, that divide, that man, I think it's you and Manigo Poi, this issue affecting everyone, or whatever happened in GANTA will affect everybody in the problem like you. So we shouldn't sit and take it lightly. And lastly, go to our brother who's watching the forum here, please, if you want to engage the conversation, we don't want any kind of terroristic threat. Until about it last year, we are all interconnected. Please, I'm begging you. Thank you so much, again.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Let me go back. I told the line there's a person that was calling here. Let me go back to you guys while we try to get this person on here. Yeah, go ahead, guys.
No, I'm just saying. Oh, I know.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess you're calling to participate on the show?
Yeah, Alfonso, this is me. I'm glad you're coming back today. That's very good.
Is that an Alio with a red barrel?
They get a red barrel. They like to wear white barrel.
I see Alio V somebody. You just I don't even know. Go ahead, Alio. Where are you now? You were boycott today, the next day you were Cummings, the next day you were Urate, the other day now you were who? Go ahead, Alio.
That man got no home.
We'll figure that out. We'll get to that topic. But let me touch on the things that you guys are talking on. First of all, look, let's be frank here. Just recently, there was a Madigo man in Monrovia, Keita, who demolished his fellow Muslims' homes in Monrovia. These people were Bandi and Vai people who, they are similar to Madigo people. But that did not raise any eyebrows of tribalism, And so the issue of demolition, the one that even took place in Nimba country that we're talking about, it's not because of guilt and manner, to be honest with you. It's because of one individual who is taking the law into his hands, like one Madigo man took laws into his hands right in Monrovia. But here is the problem. Here is why Magda Patel outburst will make sense. Alfonso, and all of you in there, including Mr. Tono, we know that Mr. Tono brought his scenario for the Crown and Madingo in for me. Most Liberians do not like to get between Crown and Madingo people because they fight and they come back together. That's a complete separate thing. Let's talk about the real issue. We have an embarrassed out to hear about his brother passing. You know what happened to the Madingo in 1990 from the border of Logatwo, Butuo, all the way to most of other countries. Madingos were slaughtered by the very two tribes. So it is very easy for one to conclude once a Mano man or a Jew man attacks a Madingo person's property, the first thing the Madingo man thinks about is what is already been through at the hands of the Gil and Mana. I want to really say here that this is not a tribal conflict, but I just want people to understand that, you know, when snake bites,
it's generating to that, Ali. So we can't. It's gradually getting to that point. Land in every country society, land women they are serious problem in the country. That's the last thing you want to see ever happening. Land crisis.
It is true. We know what happened, what we call the Iraq War that happened, I think, in 2004, I believe, and that ended between Muslims and Christians. It was because of land issue. And that land issue was between a Loma man and a Madingo man, but the whole Muslim order started to get and spread around the country. I exactly understand what you are talking about. Yes, you are right. It is completely disintegrating. And people must understand we should begin to create awareness that this is just an arrogant man, just like one Madigo man came down who went and broke other people's home. So it's just another.
Why would we have a nation? Before I go to the next person, I know you're gonna want to talk. Why would we have a nation? Why would we have a sovereign country and you just have single person, handle person tries to take the law into his or her hands, say I'm gonna do this, and nothing happened to that? Just hold your thought. Let me bring in this number here. 774 number 7611. Good evening, caller.
How you doing, sir? This is Dwalu.
Yeah,
yeah. How you doing, brother?
Good, thank you. Welcome. Go ahead.
I want to make a quick point here, and people have to understand this. Like the other caller just said, it's not a tribal issue. This is a land dispute between few families in GANTA County. But I want to say this about our brothers, the Mandingos. They must be protected as Liberian citizens. GANTA or Nima County is not a sovereign territory. It's sovereign Liberian territory. That means anybody can go there and live there. If they own property, they must be protected. But I just want to say this final point. The issue happening in GANTA is almost entirely, exclusively the reasons of the government's refusal to perform its duties. Okay? There is a hesitation as far back as Eric Johnson Shalif, where because Nima is a gold-rich county, they're refusing to protect other people who they don't consider to be gold-rich people to the detriment of the entire country. Let me explain what that means. People think if you don't take care of this issue, or if they take care of the issue, they're going to anger the Gios and the Manos, so they just let it be. This is the dangerous thing that's happening. The government must act. Our brothers, the Mandingos, must be protected. They are Liberian citizens. It doesn't matter where they are in Liberia. If they legitimately own that land, it must be given to them. Life and property must be protected. The government has a job to do. They must do its job without fear or favor, because we are all going to be consequenced. Now, these people are quick to act because of what is happening to them. And anybody can understand that. They're not going to sit there and allow that to happen again. Now, I heard on a few shows that people were writing, the Medicos is be careful to know what happened in 1990. Let me tell people this. It's not going to happen again, because they are not going to sit idly by and allow themselves to be killed so easily. So people must be Liberian citizens. They must be protected. That's what I have to say. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Dualot. Ali, you and your thoughts, and I'll go back to mine, guys.
Okay. You know, I mean, Dualot just said the thing. There is no governance. There is no government. Nobody has the will to actually act. And I think for years, the Mana and Gio have embedded in their minds that Nimba belongs to them. What they do not understand is that anybody who is born in any of those countries becomes a member of that country. For instance, my people come from Lofa. We are the Lofa people, right? But I was born in Makibi County, so I'm a Makibian. And the Nimbayans must understand this. You stop thinking that when you Gio or Mana, you can do anything you want to do. Look, let me just say this, and this is not anything like Mike Tabate said. What happened in 1990? It happened when the Mandingos were not exposed to warfare. They were not exposed to militarism. Now it would be a mistake. It will be a mistake for any government to stand by and allow any small issue to deteriorate into life-taking. I can assure you that at this time it's going to be worse, because at that time it was one group with gun, the Gio and the Mana with the gun, and the Mandingos were civilians. So it was easy to kill them. I'm telling you, there are at least 40,000 trained Mandingo rebels right around that area. It will be a
How many
catastrophe.
40,000? How do you know that?
I know that. I'm a Mandingo man.
You're a Mandingo man, so he knows.
So I'm telling you that if the government doesn't want this to integrate into some very chaotic situation, and I know they have the Geo people too. You know the whole chapter 1990 to 1991, they were Geo and Mano, pretty much. So the Geo people too have their own people there as well.
Are you so I'll let you here? That's a very good pursuit that even yet to be validated. But do you think that's that column Jabate is directly talking to?
Mike Jabate is fully aware. He knows at least 50 of the ex-generals from Yolimo and Lord. I mean, I'm not talking about just acquaintances. I'm talking about directly know them. Okay? There are some of them who moved to Ivory Coast, not too far from the border. They're doing their normal living. There are some of them who moved to Guinea. They're living their normal lives. And you know, these two countries around Nimba have their families both in Nimba and across the border, just like the Gio and the Mano. So we really hope that the government must take this thing seriously. I think the Mandingos have been past enough. Let it go in there and let it just give a court verdict. If you believe that this land doesn't belong to the Mandingo man, then let it be taken from the Mandingo man through the court of law. Or you can't just leave it open without passing any verdict, and the people see a man, grown man, look at another man, walk up to your house and break your house down and leave you and your wife homeless. At a certain point in time, it's going to get bad. And the both group, both the Mano, the Gil, because they always join against the Mandingo, the Mano and the Gil versus the Mandingo, there will be lives. And every one life that is lost is very important. The government must act. The 1990s saga is not the same as now. The people are exposed to fire weapons. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Alio, let me ask you.
I think he's gone. Just to make a point. Yeah, go ahead.
You see, Mr. So, this is why I'm going. This is not, I'm seeing it. This is not issue that people should take lightly and say Mike Jabate is trying to fill a void. What I'm seeing here, these guys know exactly what they're playing with. Mike Jabate want to establish himself as a leader within that group, in that community. And these are the things he would do to tell the little man down there that he's fighting for them. And they would look up to him as a leader. But I'm seeing that the Mandingo people, to go down that path is wrong for everybody. That's why I'm insisting that leader within the Mandingo quarters communities takes seize of this issue. Because if anything goes wrong, everybody will have themselves to blame. Because I'm sitting here, I'm a Pele man. No Mandingo man going to kill a Pele man and I lie with it. No Gil man going to kill a Pele man and they lie, or Gil man go and kill Pele man, they give people lie with it. This time, the situation is very, very volatile. It's terrible. It's dangerous in Liberia. That's why some more are saying when these things come up, the government must take siege of it immediately. Because as Anil said, this time it's a different whole ball game. No tribe is going to run away from another tribe. Everybody will be standing to defend their own area. And that is why when somebody think come up, someone will say, hey, let the government take charge of these things. Because anything that happens, everybody again will.
This is
it will be very dangerous. And this is what someone will see ahead of time and say, hey, no, when something happens in the community, certain people should be allowed to talk. Because the tone is not diplomatic for these people. That kind of language they're using.
We'll still be wrapping out here.
Yeah, so this is the problem someone are seeing that the man, I'm continuing to repeat. The leaders in Nema County, like it or not, the Mandingos are citizens. They own property in that area. And if anybody wants to contest for any property, do it through the means of the court. Do not take the law into your hands.
Okay. Mr. Toll.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll soon be wrapping up here. You listen to Aliyu here, but just today, in a brief conversation with Director Moses Carter, as far as my concern, still the police, the IG Commissioner Patrick Sudu is still in Nimba County. There also a tendency when something comes out, we all the media and everybody want to scramble over it and kind of try to give it a conversation. In 72 hours and plus, a Dallas Downs is being killed prematurely. Do you think this issue here is a wake-up call? Do you think that the government of Liberia, and this started from all the way Helen Johnson's leave, is not of George Weah, but he's in charge now. So whatever problem generated from previous government, that his responsibility to fix it, to get it done. Do you think the people of Nimba County, and not just only because the citizens themselves, they might be willing to sit down. That's why they have lawmakers. They have local municipal leaders as well. Are we going to see these people to come to a resolution to resolve this, to talk this once and for all? Or are we going to come back down the road again and come back to the same nonsense? So be talking about it?
Mr. So, thank you very much. This thing it's very complicated, to be honest with you, from my perspective. First, it was a huge failure on the part of Madam Salih to not actually go down deep into the Liberian psyche. Every one of us should have been called for her examination, to be honest with you. There were people that were born during the war and they were affected very greatly, and they are now older people now. There were people who had things happen to their relatives right before their own eyes. These people are living in the society. And there were people in the society who carry out the acts, and their brothers and sisters witnessed these acts. And they saw these people killing people, carrying on, and both of them passing by each other on Broad Street. Nothing is happening. These people, when they leave, they see the people in the street, they go home. The mindset is not quite correct. Mr. So this is deeper than that. Now, we have a choice as Liberians. We can go and revisit ourselves, and then maybe it's okay after the second round, when we come back, perhaps we'll consider our nation to be rebirthed, and then we start from the beginning and have it fixed. Or we can sit down as Liberians. And so we don't want to go back to that. Let's find out what the situation is and why we're having this issue. Now the director is in Nimba County. I hope when he went to Nimba County, he most likely, I hope that he's not there trying to throw the law around and try to actually do some serious conversation with the stakeholder and come back and make recommendation to the president and say these are the kinds of things the people, the president and his people can build on this. What happened in Nimba County in GANTA? Build on that and help the entire nation. We can use this opportunity for all of us to be helped. Another thing, one last thing I want to say here, Mr. So. The opposition, if they think said that George we are proud because he in power, they're fooling themselves. Because what happened now, even if it doesn't happen right now, it's going to be a spillover effect. And the next government are going to come in. The government going to try to find face the same situation. Your best bet, this is the time to bring unity together. Come as an opposition, call the president, call every stakeholder, and you'll have a conference. This thing is the downfall of Liberia, the land issue in Liberia. And you know what I'm talking about, Mr. So. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're not immune to this land issue either. None of us will want to sit, whether you're in America or not, to sit here and let your parent land be taken away from you because of the fact they say, oh, you even get D. Any of them got D? The war king. Can they show people D? No. Now you have to go back to the traditional way. Who was on this land before the war king? Who was here before the war king? What was the establishment before the war king? Those are the kinds of information they're going around trying to bring land law in our country. This is going to be the downfall of this country. It has nothing to do with politics. but it has to do with people. And you cannot not try to dislodge the Mandingo brothers and sisters in Nima County. When I was little, I used to travel from Grand Jide all the way to Monrovia. And when you get to GANTA, in the city of GANTA, Mandingo people, you go to any city in Liberia, Mandingo, they're always there. They are not strangers. They are part of us. Not even forget about part of us. They're all there from day one. Why now you want to say Mandingo, Dave, Mandingo? I don't want to use the language that they better be careful. If they are not careful with the Mandingo issue, this is what's going to bring them down. Because the Mandingo, they are our brothers and sisters. I have my own brother, Mandingo man. They call him Seri. He will fight for me, even as we stand here. Anybody go to Seri and cost me, even at me, America, he will fight you. Because I'm my brother. So we've been together. You can't try to divide us now. The issue in Nima County must be taken seriously. We must not come back and say, okay, Mark Japet speaking because the void. If there was some serious people from the Mandingo base, they're watching. The Mandingo people got money. They're not broke. They got money. And war, what is war? War is money. So your tribe, they're just sitting and watching. You think if Mandingo people start killing Mandingo people in Nima County, you think Sekou Kolasco will sit there and say, oh, the president, there's a... No, it won't happen. So to make things easier for all of us, this situation, the director general must come back to Monrovia and report to the president.
There's some sort of legal implication here. I think this is also far beyond the scope of the Inspector General of the Police. You're talking about Ministry of Lands and Mass and Energy, the court.
The Ministry of Internal Affairs.
The police is just there to stabilize, and that's exactly. But I'm waiting to see what's going to be the end result tomorrow. The police, they are there as a security apparatus to stabilize the tension, to make sure to have the presence of the police felt, but they do not really have any extra authority. The authority there is to restore law and order from fight, from violence, and all of that. But I think there are institutions within government that are responsible. You talk about the Ministry of Justice. You talk about the Lands and Mass and Energy Ministry. They're going to go back to the survey. You or engineer.
Mr. Stowe, I don't mean to interrupt. Let me just point this, and I'm not going to call name.
Why you don't want to call name?
Because I don't do that. Few months back,
you so stupid.
Yes, okay, whatever. Few months back, I called on one of the leader in the government, very high position. I called on him to have an interview with him. And when I brought out the name of another high position person,
who was that person?
He started insulting that person. The tribe, that person coming from the tribe is so small, and they want to rule Liberia. These people are so small. They play with oil. They play that in the ocean. They were this. If I were to call his name now, you would not believe it. High-ranking government official speaking to me about another high-ranking government official that these people don't believe. In fact, their tribe is so small they don't have no place in Liberia. But when they play with us, we'll put them in the ocean. These are people, and this person is still there, holding big position.
Is that minister of government? Minister of government?
Huh?
Is that a minister in the government?
Well, they were talking about another minister in the government. He's also is a minister in the government.
Deputy minister or minister?
Oh no,
I'm not going to go that far.
Let me tell you, Mr. So the person they were talking about, that's a foreign minister, very powerful in Liberia. I know that person.
Look, this is not a Masonic network.
No. I'm not
going to call me, Mr. So.
From the description Mr. To gave, I can do some education guess, but I ain't going there. The small tribe in Liberia. The small tribe. I ain't going there. Let's continue our conversation. I got rash you.
Okay, well, all right. You guys don't have a rash you. I can tell you, I get dozens of rash you. This is kind of Masonic craft era here. That's not what do your thing here. So if you don't want to call me, don't bring anybody. Don't bring anything out here. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think Mr. Bala is Mr. Guest here.
Mr. So, can you hear me?
I'm Nathaniel Maggie.
You can hear me. Mr. So, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. There's a vaccine on the way for you.
Seriously?
He got you.
Is that a recovery message you haven't to tell me? That says,
no, you say you are giving for him, but you say you are coming for he prepared tonight for you.
You're the Fauci now. You're the Dr. Anthony Fauci now. You sending my vaccine? Are you my healthcare provider?
I'm just telling you.
Something to it. You are so ridiculous. Unbelievable. Wow. Okay. Let it come. I will take it. All right. I will take it. Okay. Well, guys. Hopefully we're going to have Professor Zarlot. Say he could not be with us tonight. You know.
Why? Oh, you know why? I think Professor Zarlot is kind of concerned that perhaps if he were to show up tonight, the virus might travel. So maybe he didn't want to come in until you have your 14-day quarantine.
So what are you talking about? Who's going to contaminate who now?
So
maybe I'm just speculating. I said Professor Zarlot is not here tonight because he feels your 14-day quarantine is not over yet.
Are you telling me my 15-day quarantine is not over?
In fact, I have increased that to 20 days.
Something. You are up. Okay, this is why you see it. Professor Zarlot now is disrepeating you publicly. That's not true. You are a complete disaster to the university. A complete disaster. And I told Mikey on that here. All right. Okay, well, guys, I want to thank you so much. By the grace of God, I try to gain strength. But I'm interested tomorrow if Director Carter to honor our obligations, our appointment.
You started all over with Carter business again? This is the same guy that told you he was coming. You set your show up, and he never shows up.
Look, Samson, I'm not like this one here. I don't want to be. He reached out today, and hey, whether he shows up or not, that's okay. But it's part of our job to make it proportional, to make sure and get this. I like to hear from the house's mouth. I don't like these too much of circumstantial or circumstantial, and this one do this. I want to know the individual that was in Nima County, allegedly carried out. Where is the police? Yeah, where is that court order coming from? He is a paramilitary personnel, and what are the police has arrested situation to find the doer of that, on whose order he was acting in. It's important. This is not. We are talking beyond toll time, Mr. Toll. Okay. If you don't
they said they destroy a clinic. For the information I gather, there was a clinic that it destroyed.
All right, so we need to find the root causes of this, so that people that are responsible for this, they are individuals who acting, who operating to be maybe like either government officials, security personnel. They're doing all sort of things, acting on different people out of a variety of reasons. So I like to speak with the authority. And if I have the opportunity to ask them questions and based on the language, their tone, I can be able to reach a good and comprehensive decision. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming back. I'm back here, even though I'm not sure whether Samson Toll is that too happy, but I'm back and I'm here to stay. You can send your 59,000 vaccine pictures you want to send in. That's okay. I'm here to stay, and I learned a lesson, and I'm going to take my vaccine as well.
How you feeling? How you feeling?
Don't ask me. I'm okay. I don't want you.
You say you sending the man vaccine, and you say asking how you
Yeah,
feeling.
you're asking me, say my vaccine on the way. You're asking me how I'm feeling. I'm okay. I don't even need a vaccine. All right, unless it comes from Anthony Fauci or my primary healthcare doctor. Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much. That's how we're going to wrap it up this evening here. But I think my voice is pretty. Is it good, Mr. Toll?
Well,
what are you talking about? What are you doing?
Well, hold on. I like your new style of talking. It seemed like this viral have left you with the ability of not being confrontational anymore. You're not mellow out. You speak with reverence, and you're not confrontational. You're less of a Donald Trump now than before. So this I like about this viral. If this viral can bring you down to this level, I really appreciate that.
But Mr. Toe, the man he's recuperating, so he's trying to build up his energy. So don't be too happy.
What about the Chinese viral? It got different. They got South Africa one. If the Chinese one kept making the medal out, the South African one there. The one from England is there.
You see, Mr. Bala, this is not my word. This is what Mr. Bala is saying, Philip Bala. Mr. Toe has been very disrespectful to his boss. Now you are displaying who you are to what you represent.
No, but let me say it to Mr. Bala.
Wow.
There is a free speech. So Mr. Toe is just expressing how he feels.
Don't listen to Mr. Bala. Mr. Bala is one of the conservatives that like to shut me off. So if I express myself, for me, I don't have no freedom of expression. I should always say yes, sir. I shouldn't express myself freely. Mr. Bala, this is Liberal Public Radio, where we allow people to express themselves freely.
Okay, I gotta get this. Let me let this guy go. All right, this two-time guy, apparently he's on fire. Mr. Bala, thank you so much. This is what I have to deal with. He was happy that I was out here. I was away, but I can tell him for sure I am back, and I'm back to stay. He's telling me that I've been less confrontational because of the work of the virus. So in reality, he's telling me I should still be in sick bed, but that's not good. But with the Liberal Progressive, thank you so much, George, Professor Davlo, Station Manager, Nightcrap, for everybody that were reaching out. Am I going to get my last cash out, even though I'm still recuperating those? I mean, the juice stuff.
I put that cash out into the vaccine. It coming.
He was saying my little thing there. Oh, you gotta buy this. Oh, no, juice. You gotta buy this here.
No, but that one feeling now. That vaccine time.
Yeah, okay, but just let the last one drop, then I know everything is over. Okay, guys, I want to thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you, Mr. So welcome back, and we really appreciate it. And I hope
to all our valuable fans, listeners, follow. We want to thank you so much for your time with us. Don't hesitate. Send us suggestions as to how we can improve this network. Some of the talking points, some of the things that you disagree with. Let us know. We are open to that. We are still looking for female commentators or analysts as well. If you have don't mind Samson Toll, don't mind Pa George. Nobody can intimidate you as long as I'm on this network here. You'll be protected, but just put on a thick skin like myself, and that's it. Until then, guys, I want to thank you, Duaro Aliyu Samba. Aliyu is all over the place. He went to CDC. He's like Mike Jabate, no accommodation. He now with Omen Joseph Boyka. I didn't have a chance to go into Boyka, whatever senators interview.
Mr. So I am doing my whole show on Friday. Is going to be about Joseph Boyka in the interview. We're going to
I never heard you talking about Mo Ali. What? You don't want to put him into a situation that he can't know?
Mo Ali's situation, I think he himself addressed that, and I don't need to go any further than that.
So that Joseph Boyka is going to go to now?
No, I'm trying to dissect the interview with the incoming president of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Joseph Boyka.
You say what?
I said the incoming president of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. Joseph Boyka. I'm going to dissect his interview.
I had it here tonight, but there's no room, and I hope to be part of that. Will you invite me to be part of that?
No.
Will you invite me?
No.
That's how he behaves. He likes to do a lonely as a lonely guy, and he will talk.
Yeah. No, because I don't want you guys to come and contaminate my studio.
Okay, Samson, to have a pleasant night, and I will see you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. So. Good night to you as well.
Kwa
All right, well, folks, that's how we're going to leave it here this evening. I'm Alfonso Z and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Emily, thank you so much. Always our prompt follower, listener, Professor. Good to see you. Mr. Light, Kamara, thank you so much for joining us tonight. On Villa Lawadet, hopefully I'm calling your name right. Thank you for hanging out, and of course, Government D as our own man, Mikey. Thank you so much, and all of you, beautiful people, James, Vasco, for your contribution. I'm Alfonso Z and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Hopefully, join me tomorrow, midday Eastern Standard Time. We hope to play host to the Deputy Police Chief for Public Affairs, Republic of Liberia Director Moses Carter. We will keep you posted on the status of tomorrow's interview. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Every other girl was also fantastic. I tried to feel me. I try every other girl, and they all let me down. Today I'll say I should give something for something. Nothing up on the sacrifice before they can bless me. I'll say something to
Go Zone Liberia, promoting talents through academy.
Schools on Liberia. Schools on Liberia.
I wanna thank the Lord for this organization of motivation all through this nation. Schools on Liberia. You're not doing it again, no. Schools on Liberia. Yeah. So get prepared for us. We coming there to your school. If you can sing, dance, and rap, like you, we coming you. We here to promote the talent that been heading for years. We here to promote the talent.
Why are we going? Is that not our community?
Yes, that is our community, but we get cross here.
Why?
We need to go to that junction or...
Have you heard the news? Well, worry no more. Carson's photo and video production has been providing elegant weddings, conventions, and birthday videographic for the Liberian communities since 2006. Paying attention to detail and emotion throughout the day and taking time in the editing process to create a unique video you will want to watch with family members, friends, and future generations, shooting quietly and professionally and without distracting you or your guests is vital. For more information, please contact us at 484-786-3337. That's 484-786-3337, or we can also be reached at www